Hi, I'm Chioma Edinson, CEO of Expartus. Welcome to our YouTube channel. Today I'm taking a question from Sally, who's one of our subscribers, and Sally asks whether or not she should apply round 2 or if she should wait and apply round 3 or even wait till next year. Sally is wondering because she has some issues that she's still resolving dealing with her application. She's not happy with her GMAT score. She's got a 690 and she's wondering if there's more of a benefit to postponing her application to round 3 and getting the GMAT score that she wants. In addition, Sally wants to make sure that she has a very strong set of essays. She's concerned that her GMAT, if it goes up, will go up maybe 10 or 20 points. So she felt that she needed to also have as strong a set of essays as possible. So that's the question, Sally. I've read it. I hear where you're coming from. This is a major question that a lot of applicants grapple with. So you're not alone in this situation. Here's how I would answer it. Obviously, I don't know the details of your profile. I don't know, where you went to school and your GPA, but I'll assume that your GPA is fine. So it's a 3.5 and above. I'll assume that you've gone to a school that is reputable. It does not have to be Ivy or Oxbridge or the equivalent at international schools. I'll also assume that you have very strong work experience. So for you, assuming all these things are accurate, I would say that you should still plan to work towards a round 2 application. You've got about 2 months. It's a bit tight, but I think that if you can carve out dedicated time from your job, some applicants are able to take some time off. We have a client right now, for instance, an engineer, and he's taking 3 weeks off from work. I'm not sure how he was able to negotiate that, but he was. If you find that you have that flexibility to take some time off from work to dedicate to the application, I would absolutely recommend that you do that. I would also say work towards the round 2 deadline. If you find, a couple of weeks before the deadline that the application is not as strong as you want it to be, then you can make the decision not to submit for round 2. If you find that, to your surprise, you're actually able to devote the time, retake the GMAT in the next 6 weeks, and that you can, work on the GMAT preparation in tandem with your essay preparation, then by all means you should absolutely do it. I have to say, if you miss the round 2 deadline, particularly for the American universities, then you're really looking at a round 3 deadline option if you absolutely want to go this year. The challenge with round 3, I'm sure there's a lot that has been written that you've read about, is that the pool, the number of spots available becomes significantly fewer. So if you want to be competing for 200 spots versus when you could have been competing for 900 plus spots, my advice would be trying to go for the 900 plus spots. Okay. Having said that, people apply round 3 all the time they get in. There are some people that round 3 makes a lot of sense for, actually. If you're coming from a non-traditional background, let's say you've worked in the not-for-profit sector, for instance, it's a Teach for America, AmeriCorps, and you're now deciding to apply and you're considering round 3, that's an option that you can absolutely look at. If you're coming from like a military background, you've been stationed out of the country, there's a lot of reasons why it would make sense for you to consider round 3, in the sense that you've not had the resources to prepare for your GMAT, etc. You've just now returned to the country and now you're able to work on your application. So depending on your particular circumstance, if you're coming from more of an unusual suspect profile, then round 3 makes sense. Also, there are people who are coming from a a usual suspect background, so the bankers, the consultants, the private equity folks, etc., who also get in round 3. It's not ideal, but if you have an exceptional profile and there's a real compelling reason why you're choosing now to apply later in the round versus earlier, then make sure you address that in the on the online application and express some perspective about why you're applying now. But if you think that your application needs time, this is dealing with people who are thinking perhaps maybe next year will be a better option because I'm not ready, there's still a lot I have to do, then it might be worth waiting about 8 months or so, up to even 12 months to apply either in the first round or second round of next year. But even if you decide to do that, be clear on what your strategy is between now and then, so that 12 months from now, you're not simply just older and another year at the job, but you actually have very targeted things that you wish to accomplish. It could be that you want to increase your visibility at your firm, take on more responsibility, and perhaps even get a promotion. It could be that you want to spend significant time preparing for your GMAT or GRE so that you can make a massive shift in your score. So if you're someone who has like a 690 in the case of Sally, but you think that with extra time, perhaps 6 months of prep and private tutoring, etc., that you'll be able to get that score up by about 40-50 points, why not? That might make sense. And then for some people, it's that they want to also demonstrate some kind of a bridge between where they are today professionally and where they want to go. So there may be an opportunity for you to perhaps change jobs, perhaps take on greater responsibility even in your extracurricular involvement, or even start something meaningful that you can create impact. If some of these things apply to you and you're still between 24, 25 and 28, 28, then I would say absolutely the best option for you might be to wait another year and apply with the strongest application. Finally, I will say this, it's really important that you apply with the mindset that you're putting together, presenting your best application. It's always a bad idea to apply and think that, well, if I don't get in, I'll just reapply. Because one of the admission secrets out there is that if you're a reapplicant, you are actually significantly disadvantaged. There are even some schools that tell you that say they don't want reapplicants to apply. A lot of schools will say, yes, we're open to reapplicants, etc., etc. But the reality really is, how open are they really? It's kind of the analogy that I use. If somebody were to ask you on a date, okay, and you say no, and you shoot them down, and then they come back, 6 months later, and the same guy or the same woman, well, in whatever case, asks you on a date, what would you say? What is the likelihood that you're going to change your mind and say yes this time? That's kind of how you want to think about it. So you have to give them a really compelling reason. In most cases, the answer usually would be no. But sometimes, depending on what you did wrong the first time around, you can actually put together a very compelling story to reapply successfully. So coming back to Sally, I thank you for taking the time to share your question. I think in your case, you've got 2 months. We're talking about not massive changes really. You want more time you want to make sure you spend enough time on your essay, and you want to increase your score by another 20 points or so to get it above that 700 threshold. I think you should work towards around 2 application, and then a week or 2 before the deadline, reassess whether or not you're happy with the overall application. Okay, that's it. I look forward to getting more questions from all of you. You can follow us on Twitter, you can subscribe on our YouTube channel and share your comments, and certainly like us on our Facebook section as well. All the best to your success.